back to another episode of Mental Health Monday here with Tam. What's good?
What's up? What's up?
I am chilling. Tell the folks who you are and what it is that you do.
All right, so my name is Tamara. I'm a board certified behavioral analyst, currently working for Centria Healthcare. My job is with children with autism. I work with children between 4 and 18 with autism, and my job is to create behavior plans for them and to coach my staff in implementing those behavior plans, while also doing parent training and just keeping everybody together as a team as the parents and teachers and anyone else who is on the treatment team learns about autism and how to help this specific child.
What's the importance of parent training?
Ooh, parent training is probably, I'm learning now that parent training is the most important part of my job. Being a parent with a child with autism is very hard, especially if it's something that you're just getting into and just starting to learn and understand. But also as time goes on, it's like, okay, like this is really like a never ending thing. Like this is like the rest of your life, the rest of your child's life. And it gets a little heavy. I notice with a lot of my parents, and I talk to my parents a lot, and they have no issues with talking to me personally and saying like, like this is really hard. And so parent training basically consists of us looking, my parents have goals. My parents do have goals. My parents have homework. It's so important in order to learn how to be consistent, how to do things consistently, but also to understand how to do what we do and like do it how we do it. Parent training is just us having a conversation and saying like, this is what we're trying to do and this is how we do it. Now you show me how to do it. You show me what you would do in this type of situation. So it could be during session. It could be outside of session that I'm talking to them like for an hour and I'm just like, like show me this, or like show me how you would do that. Or if it's just a time where they just need to talk and say like, this is something new that I've seen, what do I do about it? That's where I come in and like we have those types of conversations. So parent training, parent community is so important. This year, a huge goal of mine is to start a parent group. Something where just parents with children with autism can come together and just talk, because I feel like, my parents always talk to other parents about me, and like that's kind of how we figured out, how you figure out how to kind of parent your child sometimes, like, oh, like so-and-so is going through this, and how did you deal with that? So, and I feel like parents here, especially in PG County, the DMV area, like I don't feel like there's a lot of community. I feel like a lot of parents don't really have anybody to talk to. So I think that's going to be something that I'm really focused on this year, just like bringing parents together so that they can have those conversations, but also talk to someone like me who can give advice if they have questions and answer their questions.
Okay. How do you deal with a parent who's frustrated with their situation?
So there's different types of parents. Like some parents are very open to criticism and some parents aren't. And I always make sure that I let them know, like, you know more about your child than I do. Always. Like, I don't even have children. So you know more about your child than I do. I'm bringing the science and you're bringing the parenting. And we're putting that together. So, parents do get frustrated a little bit, especially when we're pushing their child. It's very hard for them to understand, like, sometimes we have to push and sometimes you have to treat this child as if they are typically developing, because we have to see where they are and we have to see what they can do. And we also have to allow them to learn and allow them to do things. So that's where the frustration kind of comes in, especially with my babies. Like, they don't want to see them upset. They don't want to see them, have, behaviors, or they don't want to see them crying. But sometimes it's like, like we have to get through this and we have to understand this is what we need to do in order to get to the other side. So just chill conversation. I have a really good rapport with my parents. I really, that's always been my number one, is like get in there and have a rapport with parents, because they're going to be the people who are doing it when I'm not here. So they have to understand the importance. They have to understand my job, and we have to be able to communicate with each other.
Okay. When it comes to the community of Maryland versus the community of DC, are there any differences you see when it comes to how autism is treated?
No, I do know that in the District of Columbia, you don't have to be board certified in order to be, or you do have to be board certified, but you don't have to be licensed to be a behavioral analyst. So I haven't really worked much in DC. I'm licensed in Maryland and Virginia. That was my first step when I passed my board exam. So I haven't really worked much in DC. I do know that in DC they do have a school. I worked for a school when I first started this. I worked for a school called St. Coletta of Greater Washington, and it's a school for autistic children specifically. So I worked there for a couple of years, and then I ended up getting a promotion to their other site, and then I became a case manager, and then I got into my RBT work, and it's a whole long journey, but it ended here.
What's RBT work?
So registered behavior technician, that is kind of like who I supervise. They're the ones that when I make the plan, they're implementing the plan and taking data, and they're hands-on with the children almost every day depending on their schedule.
So would an ABA therapist be considered that?
Mm-hmm. So you start as a BT, you become an RBT after you take an exam.
What's a BT?
A behavior technician. Mm-hmm. So then you become an RBT, which is a registered behavior technician, which is, just a higher level, which is now actually becoming mandatory through a lot of insurance companies. Becoming an RBT, in order for you to work with certain insurances, you have to be an RBT.
Okay.
So that's really important for people to know. I think, like, if you are a BT and you are looking to becoming an RBT, definitely reach out. I am here for that. I love helping people study. I love that part of it. I love teaching people. But just make sure that you understand the rules, bacb.com. Make sure that you understand the rules and what's happening, because things do change a lot, and it's a lot of hard work to get here, and it's very stressful too. So as much as you can keep organized, keep it organized.
Does the insurance companies ever get in the way of the work and the services that the children can receive?
Sometimes certain insurance companies don't like certain things. Like, certain insurance companies don't like it when we're working on educational goals, like academic goals. It has to be something functional. It has to be a functional skill. It has to be like an adaptive living skill. Something towards just like your functional communication, like something like that. But with education goals, a lot of insurance companies don't really like that. They'll like push that plan back and like, oh, you gotta take that out.
Okay. Within your study, why go back to school?
I had to. So in order to become a board certified behavioral analyst, you do need a master's degree. And I just knew, I was like, okay, I never expected to be doing this at all. I had a whole nother career path in mind.
What was your original career path?
I went to school to be an athletic trainer. And that didn't work out. And once I left my undergrad, I was a little nervous. I was like, oh, what am I gonna do? Things didn't really work out, and it was a lot. It was very stressful, because if anyone knows me, they know I'm that person. I have plan A, plan B, plan C, and this plan was the plan. I knew this is what I really want to do, and it didn't work out. So I started working at St. Coletta I was a DSP, a direct support. And it was just me and this little boy, and I was like, wow, I've never done anything like this before, but I was like, wow, I'm really patient, and I really like kids. I love kids. And I'm like, I could do this. So that's when I got into the behavior technician work, and then the RBT, and then I was like, all right, quarantine came, and I was like, all right, we can get the master's out of the way. So I got my master's out of the way, and then I took my board certification exam in, I believe it was March. I had to take it twice. I did fail the first time. Do not be upset if you fail the first time. It is okay, but I was one of those people. I was so sad. I was crying, because it's a lot, and it's hard, and it's expensive. So I took it the second time. I passed, and everything's just been up from there.
Okay. Can this job be emotionally taxing?
Ooh, yeah, it can be. It can be. It's very hard sometimes when you see a child with a lot of potential, but maybe they don't have the environment that gives them what they need in order to show that potential.
Yeah.
That could be very taxing. It could be very taxing to sometimes talk to parents, if you're not having that understanding, or if they're not kind of on the same page, or they're not trying to work with you, they're kind of working against you. It's a little hard, but it just takes a little bit of work, and it does take patience, and it does take consistency. And it takes so much communication. Like, and it's how you say things sometimes that really matters. It's not what you're saying, but it's how you're saying it and making sure that you're reassuring everybody that everybody has a part in this.
How do you get into this path?
How did I?
Mm-hmm. Well, not get into the path, but like when you decided to, were there people you reached out to, or were there folks who were already in this circle and you said, I'm interested in this?
I believe that I got into it when I was at St. Coletta. I was like, I need to make more money because student loans were coming in, and I was like, whoa, I'm not ready for that. You know, I wasn't really getting paid a lot or anything like that, and I was like, no, like I need to make more money. I've always been super independent and like wanting things, so like I was like, I gotta make more money. So I just started looking on Indeed, and I was like, okay, special education, something, because like now I've been here for like, you know, a year at least, so like I have a little bit of experience, so somebody would definitely hire me. And that's when I came across behavior technician work.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
How are the folks that you work with? Tell me about the team.
It's well, my specific team, my staff is so freaking amazing, and I'm gonna show them this interview too because I want them to know, like, my staff, I love my staff so much. We communicate very well. They let me know what's going on. They know I have their back. They know that if it's a problem with a parent, like I'm there for them. We do so well as a team together. They communicate with me when something's wrong, when something's different, and that's so important in this. My coworkers, it's been really weird with COVID. You don't get to really meet a lot of people. I had one coworker that I came in with. She's really cool and she lives pretty close by, so like that's really the only person that I've really gotten to know. But COVID has definitely made things a little difficult in meeting coworkers.